going. There. There. Alright. Welcome, welcome. Alright. Oh yeah, almost forgot, but yeah, I've been doing the voice acting classes stuff. The Pelmeni. Actually, it was kind of bland. I don't think I put in enough spices. I put them in, but maybe not in enough. But aside from that, I'll make them again. Make it better, I guess. And try and get an actual taste out of it this time. But I kind of like that you just wait till they float. That's an interesting way to time things. As opposed to, okay, set it for 5 minutes in the toaster and 10 minutes over here, half hour. You're always on a timer, but this time it just wait till they float. That was interesting. But yeah, my dad had some, and he made the comment, it's alright, tastes like food, which was about what it was. Yeah. I guess I tend to worry about doing too much and always end up doing too little in something. I'll do it again later. At another point. Maybe? I don't know. But yeah, it was fun. I'll try it again. Maybe I'll just work at doing a bit more. It wasn't bad, it just I didn't do enough for it. I'll try it again though. And I'll tell you what it tastes like at that point when I do it right. But one of the other things, I was in the voice acting class thing, and we have a group project which we have to voice basically either a fake or a real ad. I'm not entirely sure. Each of us takes a different role. There's an announcer. There's like 6 total roles. There's an announcer, a dog, a cat, a bird, a ferret, and then another announcer. I apparently have the role of a ferret, which I will be voicing at some point. And I'll probably work on it this weekend. Well, I'll have to, because we have to. But yeah, I will be voicing a ferret. I'll let you guys know what it is once I record it and the like. But that's the news for one more thing. Our internet thing, me and my dad have both decided that it is a busted unit. And we're going to exchange it. I hope we get one that actually does work. And if it does, it should work really, really well. Yes, but again, I may not have put in enough. So I think there might not have been enough salt in the water. Might not have been enough spices on the meat itself. I tend to, like I said, I tend to be very light, reserved with how much I do. Is that enough? Maybe. Because in most cases, not having too little is a bit preferable to having too much. Like burning something. A little undercooked, that's okay. Burnt, you're crunching something that shouldn't be crunchy. I don't know, it's just something I always worry about that ends up being the opposite of what I need to worry about. But yeah, our internet thing, I have to sort out how to return it. Should be okay. And one other thing. You guys mentioned a sale on Steam. I took a look at it and bought a couple of things. One of them was the Nonary games and the Clannad, and though it wasn't on sale, it's one I've been interested in for a bit. It's called A Night Aboard the Obra Dinn. It's an interesting game. I won't be voicing that one. I will most likely be giving commentary and talking through it. which is a different aspect that I want to go through in some games. In that game, it's about you're up on this ship, and there's nobody there, nothing on board, just you and the guy who brought you there. But you have this like magic clock or a compass. Can't remember exactly what it is. There was a demo I played in it, about 10 minutes worth or so. But you go through, and your job is to catalog what happened to every single person on the boat. And there's like 30 or so people or something like that. But your little magic compass allows you to inspect a corpse and see like the moment of their death. And you have to figure out who that person was, what was the cause of death, and how they died. Yeah. Like, this is the captain. He was shot in the head with a shotgun. This was the cabin boy. He was pummeled to death by a tentacle. This was... and it was interesting. It's very interesting style. I'd like to get to it. The caveat and all that stuff is I've got so many games to work through now. I'm going to hold off on acquiring any new things for quite some time now until we work through this backlog I've got. And with Umineko on the second chapter of the second half, this might take a while. And then with the Higurashi after that. I think I'll swap in something probably Danganronpa after the first game of Phoenix Wright and see where we get to from there. Anyway, enough. I want to say bickering, but that's not it. But just jabbering, yammering. That's it. Let's get to the story. We left off. It was a new game master, Battler, and he apparently created a new Beatrice to try and resurrect her or some sort. And we're also apparently married to Erica for some reason, and somehow. And they're talking about the true Beatrice and a true resurrection and such, and Battler's new game, which I'm curious to kind of see. I don't think he'll be doing a lot of killing, personally, but I don't know, he may have to do things. Now, let's go. However, Battler suspected this in the fourth game and asked Beato about it. According to the tale, this was denied by the Red Truth. 6 years ago, no person called Beatrice existed for Battler. Right, that whole thing. We can read this as saying that Beato did not exist 6 years ago. Oh yeah, and Featherin Augustus Aurora has sponsor as her reader, the story reader. What kind of title would that be? Miko, I think is what she called her. Yeah. Or it could simply mean that she had no connection to Battler at that time. However, either way, Battler did not visit Rakunjima at all for the next 6 years. October 4th, 1986 should have been the first time Beatrice and Oni-chan met. If so, why was there already some kind of antagonism between them? I don't have a clue what it means. That sin of Ushiromiya Battlers, which Beato took Battler to task for in the fourth game, might give us a clue. The result of that might have been Beatrice herself. The result? The result of Oni-chan's sin was Beato? That almost sounds as though Oni-chan created the witch called Beatrice himself. Almost as though Beatrice was Battler's piece. Huh? Battler sinned 6 years ago. Because of that sin, people died. The one doing the killing was Beatrice. If you consider the possibility that everything is connected to Battler's sin 6 years ago, then the one who created Beatrice was Battler himself. I thought it sounded almost as though she was Battler's piece. I don't get it. Even if Oni-chan sinned in some way, his crime couldn't have been anything close to murder. If this huge massacre is in retaliation for what he did, then it's totally out of proportion. Beato killed our family. Dad, Mom, Oni-chan, everyone. I can't believe that Oni-chan's sin was anything deserving of that. The weight of a sin depends on the person measuring it. Even a sin so light that Battler might have forgotten could have been so serious to Beato that she hated him enough to massacre his whole family a full 6 years after the fact. Well, even I find that a bit excessive. And more importantly, if she were a person like that, I would find it hard to accept that Battler would act so friendly towards her after discovering the truth. Featherin's observation was an interesting one. In the past game, Beato clearly said that Oni-chan's sin 6 years ago was the cause of this 2-day tragedy. I still don't know what kind of sin that was. However, he figured out what it was at the end of the 5th game, and he even apologized to Beato. Even though she was the witch who had massacred his entire family in retaliation for his sin of 6 years previous, Battler apologized to her. Of course, it was the player Battler who apologized, not the peace Battler whose family had been murdered over and over again. But even so, Battler must have remembered something at the end of the last game that made him feel like apologizing. Does that mean the sin from 6 years ago is hidden somewhere in the tales we've seen so far? I have already formed a certain theory on that matter. Oh? Let's hear it. I cannot tell you yet. I want to enjoy being the only one who knows the answer for a little while longer. Well then, I guess I'm done reading for you. Well, we can't have that, can we? Have some patience and read a bit further. My theory is still nothing more than a guess. Once I'm certain of it, I'll tell you. Okay, my master. I actually do want to hear what comes next, after all. Just what kind of connection do Oni-chan and Beatrice have with each other? Understanding that will probably give me a massive clue towards finding the truth of this world. After all, because he remembered that, he was able to reach the truth. Beatrice! Welcome, Master. Beatrice-sama is waiting for you. This way, please. This place was a villa set aside for Beatrice's use. It was a sacred site for her only, built so that she could spend her days without being affected by the outside world. My heart began to race. I'm so glad that she was able to revive, and that everything's okay. Beato is a personification of the rules. So, even though she was destroyed once, it's possible for her to be reborn again. Battler had quickly succeeded in reviving Beato's body, but he had trouble summoning her soul back. However, during the time he'd spent immersed in the creation of the 6th game, she had woken up. And this had happened 3 days ago. The aspect of time here is odd. Battler let himself be led into the dining hall. The dining hall had been set up for his and Beato's use. It existed so that they could enjoy some black tea, while having conversations that were only possible now that he had reached all of the truth. I want to tell her. I want to tell Beato that I found the truth. Battler couldn't hold back his excitement over this miracle he'd been granted. The miracle of Beato waiting for him in the dining hall to hear what he had to say. How is Beatrice? Same as usual? Is she doing well? Yes, she is doing quite well. She has been waiting for you all this time, Master. Oh, yes. So she's in the dining hall. Is she eating or something? Ah, that's okay. It doesn't matter either way. You'll be surprised. Beatrice! When he swung open the doors to the dining hall, Battler was greeted by a wonderful sight. Though the food laid out on the table wasn't particularly sensational, it was arranged beautifully, and a champagne bottle stood there waiting. Then, the person clad in that familiar dress with the beautiful golden hair bowed deeply in greeting. But, Beatrice, you have my sincerest gratitude for giving me this form. I think that was the sound for Come on. Don't worry about that. I'm so glad. Beato. Battler rushed up to Beato and hugged her tightly, just to make sure her body wasn't just mist or an illusion. I solved your riddle for you. But then, before I could tell you about it, you went and disappeared. I am right here. I will not disappear. It's okay. You can stop talking like that. I'm not going to ask you for anything in return. Anyway, I want to apologize. I want to talk with you. I don't even know where I should start. You have done nothing that you need to apologize for, Father. I'm glad just to be of service to you. Beato? Beatrice was born for your sake, Father. Please, let me support you. And Father, congratulations on completing the 6th game. I told you, stop talking like that. You're creeping me out. Do you find this style of speech displeasing? Please, forgive my rudeness. Well, I don't find it displeasing, but it's not like you. I guess I like the way you usually talk best. Beato smiled vaguely. To Battler, it probably looked as though they were both smiling at the unusual way she was talking. However, Beato's smile literally was vague and uncertain. After all, she didn't know how she was supposed to talk. Anyway, Beato, just what kind of joke is this? Don't tell me that the great Beatrice-sama decided to cook for me. When I heard that you had completed the 6th game, I wanted to see if I could prepare a modest reward to congratulate you. Beatrice-sama really worked hard to make this. I didn't even need to lend a hand at all. No, I didn't. The food set on the table really was modest and inexpertly made. You could tell by looking at it that Beato, who wasn't particularly skilled with cooking, had given it her all. However, signs of discomfort and irritation were beginning to appear on Battler's face. What's going on here? Well, as she said, Beatrice-sama wishes to congratulate you. Sweat was starting to show up on Kumasawa's forehead. She was also feeling uneasy. When he noticed, Battler realized that it wasn't just his imagination. Beato turned her back to Battler and stuck a corkscrew into the champagne bottle. Then she showed it to Battler. Father, congratulations on the completion of the 6th game. In the hopes that you will prove victorious over your longtime rival, Furo Erika. When presented with a champagne bottle and a sound like that, anyone would think that the cork had been pulled out. However, it wasn't the cork. It was the bottom of the bottle. The high-quality champagne that Beto had procured splashed out all over the floor and her dress. Then the same sound repeated several more times. Each time, one of the plates of food on the table was knocked into the air. Father, did you find the food displeasing? Who are you? I am Beatrice. I was born for your sake, Father. That's not right. Huh? Who is this? This isn't Beato. And anyway, don't call me father. What's going on here? What is this? Didn't I revive Beato? Genji, what's this all about? My apologies, but that is indeed Beatrice-sama. Are you kidding me? How is this supposed to be Beato? She's totally wrong. A fake. No. This is Beatrice-sama. This is, without a doubt, Beatrice-sama, who was born in accordance with the rules of the game board. No, this isn't anything like Beato. Beato would always talk in that weird way, and laugh rudely, and... No. This is most certainly Beatrice-sama herself. Then why is she talking like that? Why is she calling me father? Beatrice-sama was only born a short while ago. It would be far too cruel to expect her to act as she once did so soon. Are you saying that her memory hasn't returned yet? Master, this person truly is Beatrice-sama herself. However, she is not the Beatrice-sama you know so well. What are you talking about? I'm the Game Master, right? Why can't I revive Beato? Beatrice-sama has revived. However, the old Beatrice-sama lived for 1,000 years. This Beatrice-sama, on the other hand, was only born a short while ago. If she appears to be a different person, well, that just can't be helped. Then how can I revive that Beato? Her body is right here. How can I revive her soul? If she lives the same 1,000-year life again, she should become the same Beatrice-sama she was before. Are you telling me to wait 1,000 years? A person's personality isn't decided solely by their birth. It can change drastically based on how they live and what they experience. Yeah. Do you understand? Even though she is the same Beato, she is not the same. I get it. Even if you had two of the exact same person, they could change enormously depending on their upbringing. Even though they might both be the same human to start with, their upbringing could change them so much that they effectively become two completely different people. Usually, we use the term person to refer to a person, not their personality. However, since humans recognize a person by their personality, those two might as well be different people from a human perspective. That's so true. If that tragedy 12 years ago hadn't happened, this little lady of ours might be a cute girl who could smile without looking weird. That's rude. I'm pretty cute as it is. I understand. If a personality is what makes a person in our eyes, you could probably say that a second personality represents a different person entirely, even if it inhabits the same flesh body. At the very least, I'm a completely different person than I used to be 12 years ago. And if my family had come home 12 years ago, then the Angie that resulted would surely be a completely different person from me. Even a single human can become a different person. In fact, depending on their upbringing and endless possibilities, they can become an endless number of different people. So, just because this is Beato, that's no guarantee that she'll become the Beato that Oni-chan knows so well. And on top of that, Beatrice is a witch who lived 1,000 years. People can die and be reborn in just 3 days. 1,000 years, such a huge amount of time. It seems you're quite a skilled reader. For most of my readers, it would be necessary to spend several hundred pages to explain how a single person becomes different people depending on their upbringing and time. Don't underestimate your readers. We aren't just reading. We read, and we think. If I make 100 people read it, about 90 will be able to. However, only 50 will actually understand what it means, and not even 20 will actually think beyond that. And all I ask is that they think it over a bit. Nothing more than that. However, it seems that you are one of those precious 20 readers. That's why I invited you here, child of man. It was seriously hard to like this Hachijo Toya person. However, though this forgery she had written was still in its first stages, it definitely felt as though it contained something very similar to the tales in those message bottles. Speaking metaphorically, one might call it a scent, an indescribably unique and stern atmosphere, like a stuffy library. The Beatrice who wrote the message bottles in Hachijo Toya are different people, and yet this has the same scent as that tale. I see. This is why some of those curious witch hunters are so intensely devoted to her. Their keen sense of smell was able to sniff out that familiar scent. Very well then. Please, continue reading. There could be nothing more entertaining than watching your face as you glance over the words. That, and speaking with you. I guess it's true that writers are always striving. I guess it's true that writers are always starving for opinions on their works. However, sorry to disappoint you, I don't have time to read all the way through this thick manuscript. More importantly, and yet, you have plenty of time. Both the second hand and the pendulum on the ornate clock behind Hachijo had been moving the whole time. However, absolutely no time had passed for a while now. Only about 3 minutes had gone by since the time she had entered the room. I doubt that. See? Time isn't one of your problems. No sort of time will chase you away until you finish reading. Next page, lady. Next page. Amakusa badgered me to turn the page, so I returned to the world of the tale once more. Why does her tale have the same scent as Beatrice's, I wonder? Is it because she actually has reached the truth, as she claims? Does this mean that anyone who knows the truth could create an endless number of message bottles? Is that how the cat box world works? That's a tongue twister. I see. I guess she might also be an endless witch. In fact, maybe anyone who knows the truth can become an endless witch. An endless tale created by the endless witches. The 2 days starting on October 4th, 1986, where my family is being toyed with endlessly. I have to end it. I have to find a hint of the truth from within this story, and end this endless tale. What do you think, Beato? How's the 6th game I've made? Well, you're not the type to give me an honest compliment anyway. You'd probably say something more like, not bad for an incompetent fool like you. Not bad for an incompetent fool like you. Now that I've seen what it's like to be a game master, it's pretty clear. I wasn't the only one who had it rough each and every game. Creating a game is far from easy. I certainly never expected us to recognize each other's efforts like this. Creating a game is far from easy. I certainly never expected us to recognize each other's efforts like this. All wrong. This isn't Beato. Battler slammed hard on the desk, but the piece Beato showed no reaction. After all, Battler hadn't ordered her to react. It would be easy to revive that Beato as a piece. However, it would only move according to Battler's wishes. Having a conversation with it was no different from talking to himself. The Game Master could summon any kind of piece. He could move those pieces in any way he wanted, reigning as an absolute god. However, for that very reason, they were just pieces. That made it unbelievably lonely and sad. You created many kinds of furniture, as well as several tales in the past. When I saw that, I was sure you were having a great time doing it. But that's all wrong. You were unbelievably lonely. It must have been such a relief for you, have an opponent like me who could actually go against you. Yep, I'm painfully aware of that now. That weird, polite Beato really was you, wasn't she? The way you were 1,000 years ago. And yet, she's a different person. The way she looks just like you is what I really can't get over. I can't stand it. However, she isn't a piece, so she can go against my will. That Beato is much more alive than a piece like you. I get that. But it's all wrong. This isn't you. She's a completely separate person, like a long-lost little sister or something. And that's why I just can't accept her. As much as he hated the peace version of Beato, Battler felt an even stronger dislike for the chick Beato. Even after a whole 1,000 years, she still wouldn't become the original Beato. Even if she were ordered to act like the original Beato, it would just be an imitation. This was a very similar but separate person, and definitely not Beato herself. Oh, hey. So, in the previous game, Beato really did disappear for all eternity. Even after becoming the Game Master, there is no way to revive her. Laugh. Laugh at how pathetic I am. Just give it a rest already. You're just an illusion who won't laugh unless I order it, and who can't even continue to laugh unless I keep on ordering it. Just disappear. Hey, Zeku. Umineko no Nakukoro Nichiro, Nocturne of Truth and Illusions. Welcome to the party, pal! I, really agree with the, thought process here. It's one I've shared actually for quite some time. When people try and resurrect or replace people, that doesn't happen. Their soul is the important part, not their body, not their looks. You can make an exact 100% accurate person, but it still isn't them, and nothing will ever make it so. For instance, you had like two doll bodies, perfect, exact replicas, but they're artificially created. And you have them just standing side by side. One looks left, one looks right. That is automatically they are a different person because of that. Even if that's the only change, that would be a difference. That would be right Kun and that would be left Chan. There's no way to replicate that. The only way to do it would be to meticulously go over and recreate every single solitary aspect, and then they have every single thought the same as they did, and an exact save file of that person up to the exact point they were. That would be the only way to do it, but that's not really feasible. Corey, the game master. Well, I am. I've been playing games for months now, man. But yeah, it's so... And it's that thought process that also is one of the reasons I regret choices I've made. I have done some things poorly. But if I had the chance to go back and do them over again, I don't think I would. Those mistakes, those things I have done wrong, are what led me to get to this point here. I am me, specifically me, because of all the choices I've made, good and bad, the things I've done, the things I haven't done. Every single aspect of that is me. There's the multiple universe existence. Well, what if I went left on that path? What if I said yes to that person? What if I did this or that or this or that? And every possible exact thing you could have ever done in your entire life. What if I lost my limb? What if I lost this finger? What if I lost that finger? What if I lost that finger? Whatever infinite amount of possibilities that happen actually makes it... most people think that it makes them very uninteresting, ununique, but it actually is kind of the opposite. There's an infinite amount of possible yous out there. For instance, if we were to take that. Which means the you, sitting or standing or whatever there right now, the you right here is infinitely unique in the choices you've made. Infinitely unique in the beliefs and the thought process. That is you. And no one else can take that from you. And no one else can replicate that. They can try, but again, it would be an imitation, an illusion, a doll. You are you because you're you. On Rockinjima, this day, or rather, this round, was the same as any other. The typhoon would be coming very soon. The sky was still overcast, but the clouds were moving quickly. The only thing on Natsuhi's mind was the plan to cover up Kinzo's absence again this year. Kraus appeared to have suffered a stomachache from the stress and was sleeping in his room. Hey, Boatman! I forgot your name, buddy. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Jessica and Kumasawa had left in a boat to go shopping and greet the incoming relatives on Nijima. The servants had been busy since the early morning preparing for the family conference, the greatest event of the year. Shannon and Cannon were rushing to get the guest house ready. If the relatives are going to stay the night, shouldn't the guest rooms in the mansion be more than enough? Good point. It's a pain to clean up this place too, after all. Even so, I like cleaning the guest house. Yeah, it's nice and quiet without Madame and all the annoying servants. Shannon smiled wryly as she performed a detailed examination of the guest room. Did we forget to clean anything? Potentially. But I don't see it that way. Do we need to restock anything? She diligently gave the room one final check over. Potentially, there's... I see kind of what you're saying. There's also the belief that, well, my hands are in fate. I don't got to do anything and it'll happen because of it. And you just sit there and fate will happen. Fate has decided that. There is that one. But that's a future aspect. I'm thinking the past. Everything I have done up until this point has been my choice and my happenstance and my actions. They have defined me, and I am still defining myself based off the actions I will take. And I do want personal growth. It's more so just a lack of regret for what I've done. There still is some regrets, like, man, I remember that one thing I did in 3rd grade that was horribly embarrassing. I wish I didn't do that. But yet, I still did that. And it has become a part of me, and it's a bit of acceptance on who you are, as I see it as. Personal growth is still defined in the here and now and the future. Yeah, there is that one. Yeah. Accept the flaws is part of what makes you unique. I didn't quite mean it in that sense. I meant it as, well, maybe so. I still wish to get rid of my flaws, but I don't wish to get rid of how I got here. Because, for instance, if I had those flaws and I went back and undid everything, I wouldn't be able to appreciate what I went through or what I learned because of it. And things like that. It's a similar example with I think spoiled kids, which, fun fact, I used to be a spoiled kid. I grew out of it. I am immensely thankful for that. I used to be the only grandchild out of the family, so I got spoiled on. But it's a spoiled kid doesn't appreciate what it means to not have something, to have something go wrong. It used to be my mom would buy me a toy every time we went to the grocery store, and I went to expect one. I have, again, moved on from that and grown from that. But I also believe that because I was a bit spoiled, I can see that point of view. I took a step back and I can appreciate this point of view, and now I have a much better understanding of where I was, how I was, and how much I have grown. If I, for instance, wasn't spoiled and just was normal, I wouldn't appreciate the change as much. Somewhat. I won't go back. I don't want to, but it was a mark in history, and I'm not going to alter history to see what happens. But yeah, the mindset of, this is my flaw, this is what's defining me, this is part of me, I won't let it go because it's me. I've seen an example of that in a forum I used to go to. There's this one dude who was known for using, I think it was like Windows 95 in the era of like Windows 8. And he was kind of known for, because on the little forum thing, it marks you what operating system you're on, and it was 95. And he accepted that as his identity, and he was refusing to let it go. And it got so bad that some of the moderators banned him until he got the new operating system. The only reason he was keeping it was because he attached it to his identity, and he kept it, and he was refusing to let it go, fearful of the loss of what would go through with it. Eventually, the moderators actually gave him the new operating system and told him to install it and improve his life, and he was actually thankful for it afterwards, and he was unbanned and was allowed to say some stuff, and he was thankful for it, which was pretty cool. I don't know the whole story of it. It was kind of a secondary forum I went to, and it's now kind of defunct, but I remember that guy and what he went through. You are not defined and solely by what you have, who you, and your flaws. You can change. You are your own soul, and it is adaptable. It can get better, it can get worse, it can change. But you are you, and you've made your choices. Don't cling on to something. That's helped me. If I showed you guys what I was like a few years ago, I wouldn't be the same. But yeah, so I have changed immense amounts. For one thing, I'm talking online to people across the world casually. I used to have trouble conversing with people. I was that, not necessarily shy, but just that quiet kid in the back. I didn't do much. I didn't talk. And you could count the number of people I talked to that whole day on one hand, if that. Now I'm talking to you guys all the time. Go to work, I'm talking to all sorts of people. You can change. You are not defined. You are not locked into a specific aspect, a specific role. You can change. You can always change. There's always a choice and always something you can do. It may not be easy, but you always do have a choice. And for instance, one of the ones I'm looking at, to go just continue the story, I guess it's story time right now. I've noticed, like that one guy who had Windows 95 as the aspect that he identified as. I've noticed that I have kind of accepted my satellite and poor internet connection as an aspect of my life, and I'm working to change that. It used to be one of my usernames that I used to toss around with was 1000 Ping Guy, the guy playing from satellite internet, because it took me an entire second. My latency was so big that it couldn't even actually register on the game itself. It was like 1500, but the game could only register 996, and so it was solidly locked at that number. It wouldn't go any further because it couldn't. And I took that a bit as my identity at the time, mostly in jest, but I also see it now partly as true. I took it as, yeah, that's my lot in life. But I've been working at trying to change it now. With this cellular internet, I now have the potential ability to get rid of that, to move past that. If that doesn't work, I still have more options of moving somewhere else, which I'm actually considering looking into. It's a bit more, and it's this weird bit of letting go of everything you know and moving somewhere else. I had a similar conversation with a family member, and the analogy we came up with was, in order to walk forward, you have to pick up your leg and move it forward and go to a new spot. You can't keep in one spot and keep trying to go forward without letting go. At some point, you have to let go and move forward. And don't let your foot get stuck in the mud, otherwise it'll drag you down there with you. Don't be afraid of progress, because you don't know what's in store for you. You'll never know what's in store for you. Hell, look at this channel here. I have dolls, I'm streaming, I have a microphone, and I'm going into voiceover work. I have never, before this channel, thought of any of that stuff. But here I am. And I have changed vastly so from what I used to be. Personal growth will happen. You just gotta allow it to. Anyway, let's get back to the story. I don't think we've actually gone very far. Been sitting here talking and doing stuff. Anyway. Music reset too. Alright. You checked everything thoroughly last night too, didn't you? You really are dedicated. It's days like this that you tend to get pranked if you're careless. You can never find important things when you need them. And things that were supposed to be closed turn out to be open. That's because you're too careless. You don't pay attention while you work. I guess that's why you're helping me check. Thanks. There's nothing to thank me for. If you were a bit more alert, I wouldn't have to help at all. But you actually just want to be with me, right? You're such a kid. That's not it at all. It's because you've been so ecstatic about George-sama lately. You're messing up so much, I can't let you out of my sight. Canon-kun. Let's chat a bit. We can't do that now. We're working. You keep making fun of me and George-sama. But how's it going between you and Jessica-sama? Nothing's going on in particular. If you have time to talk about that, let's just finish this. Canon had very obviously been trying to change the subject. Shannon had then snuck up behind him and pushed him down onto the bed. So, why did you turn down my lady when she asked you to go with her to welcome the relatives? Because I have work to do. Liar. You don't actually have any work at all. Shannon and Canon had switched roles. Normally, Canon was the one in control, but when it came to romance, it was the opposite. As Shannon had said, Jessica and Canon were supposed to have been the ones to go greet the relatives at the harbor on Najima. However, Canon had suddenly claimed that he had work to do, so Kumasawa had gone instead. Canon didn't have any work to do. Shannon knew this. My lady told me, despite what happened after the cultural festival, she really does like you, Canon-kun. Even though I'm furniture. That's right. And I'm furniture too. But despite that, you're in love with a human. Even though you can't do that. You think so? Maybe we're furniture. Just because we take that for granted. I don't have any special feelings for my lady, Jessica. I only think of her as the daughter of the family we serve. Really? Really. What? You know, there is a chance that George-sama will propose to me tonight. Shannon wore an incredibly peaceful smile on her face, but Canon could tell that there was no way she'd let him change the subject. Canon realized that she must have made him help out here in the guest house in order to talk to him about this, and he clicked his tongue softly. You really think you can marry a human, even though you're furniture? I think I can. It won't work. Why not? That dream future that George-sama has imagined for you two is something you can never give him. Well, we aren't humans. We're furniture. Inferior to them. George-sama only thinks that you're human. Well, that is true, but I'm impressed that you've managed to keep him fooled this long. Do you really think you can keep tricking him like that forever? Even though you still haven't been able to tell him that you're furniture. Being furniture and being human has nothing to do with this. I believe that George-san will accept everything about me. And yet you don't have the courage to check and make sure. You know what? I think I'll accept his proposal. As Shannon looked up at the ceiling, she spoke of the imagined future that she and George would create. Though some anxiety of the future appeared on her face, so did the joy of knowing what it was like to live with love. As Kenan watched this vivid dream he was being shown, he knew that none of his words would reach Shannon anymore. You can just do what you want. Once you've said you'll do something, you can be incredibly stubborn. Yep. I want to live life my own way. I'd like to stop being afraid over who's furniture and who's a human. Kenan walked over to the window silently. He saw the rose garden filled with boring gray flowers in bloom. He realized that Shannon was acting above her place, and he knew that her tale had no chance of a happy ending. However, he also knew that no words of his could change her mind now that she had made her decision. Make a note that I'm acting above her place. I'm going to talk about that later. In that case, it doesn't matter what I say. There it is. If I tell you to stop, you won't listen. If I tell you what you want, you'll do what you want. Why are you talking to me about this? It's not like you care what I have to say. What I want to know is how you feel about my lady. I have nothing to do with the two of you. Do you really feel absolutely nothing for my lady? No, I don't, as I keep telling you. Liar. What makes you think that's a lie? I can tell. I'm your Nason, aren't I? You don't know. You can't know what I'm feeling. I do. I know everything about you, Kenan-kun. If you really do know, then why did you ask? Your head and your heart are completely filled by George-sama, aren't they? And it's that certainty of yours that I love. That's why I'm rooting for you in the only way I can. Otherwise, even I want to love my lady. Kenan finally turned to face her, honestly and openly telling her how he really felt. That was what Shannon had wanted to hear. And after hearing that, she pressed Kenan even further to reveal his true feelings. You can't leave it at that. I won't let you. Then what should I do? What do you want me to say? Don't try to dodge by saying I wanted to love her. All you need to do is honestly tell me what you really feel. My lady is too dazzling for me. The way she lives is dazzling, like the sun. That's why I love her. I was so happy when my lady stretched out her hand and asked me to walk with her. No, I still am happy. You love her, don't you? Yes, I do. I love my lady. Finally, Kenan confessed his feelings in their entirety. In fact, by saying it aloud, he finally understood how he truly felt. As passionate tears welled up in his eyes, Kenan finally accepted it. He couldn't stop the tears from dripping down his face. Both of us are exactly the same, locked up on Rakanjima and living without any hope at all. And yet, my lady was able to light her own path and create her own fate. She was so dazzling that I envied her. I felt as though if I could be with her, I could find my true self, instead of being the pitiful person I am now. When you turned down my lady's confession, were you sad? I was. I never realized that a lie you make to yourself could be so sad, so painful, so excruciating. And I couldn't forgive myself for hurting my lady with that lie. I believed that I didn't have what it takes to ever fall in love again. But that wasn't true. Do you know what's needed to fall in love? It's something you can't get from anyone but yourself. Being furniture or not has nothing to do with it. If you decide for yourself that it won't work out, then it won't. You mustn't leap to such rigid conclusions. That's why I, overambitious furniture that I am, gave myself what's needed to fall in love. So you have it too, Canon-kun. You mean I have what it takes to fall in love? Yes. If you won't give it to yourself, I'll give it to you. Thank you. I feel as though I can finally see the sea. I'm certain of it. George-sama will propose to me tonight. When he does, I will accept. I intend to leave this island and start a new life in our new world. If that's the path you've chosen, then I have no say in the matter. I'll leave this island, and after that, I'll never return again. I'll have to say farewell to you, Canon-kun. You're right. We won't see each other again, will we? If you do love my lady from the bottom of your heart, and your feelings are at least as strong as my feelings for George-san, then you and I will have to settle whose feelings are really stronger. Nei-san. This way is best for both of us. Don't give up on your feelings for my sake. Even though my selfishness might keep you from your happiness, I realize that same thing about myself. I know that my happiness will bring you pain. We have no choice but to hurt each other. As she said this, Shannon turned her back to Cannon. As Cannon watched Shannon from behind, he was struck by her strength and the love she still felt for him despite everything. Nei-san, living with you made me happy. Me too. I wouldn't have lasted this long without you. And that's why I was able to meet George-san. Yeah. And I wouldn't have realized how dazzling my lady is if it weren't for you. I won't abandon the way I feel. I'll focus on that feeling alone, ignoring everything else, and I won't look away when I trample over your heart. Me too. I won't use you as an excuse to hide the way I really feel. Whether my love bears fruit, or yours does, we'll both support the victor. Yes, I promise. And if I win, I will love my lady and treasure you. Thank you. But if I win, I'll forget you and this island and leave this place forever. Yes. Whichever of us wins, that person will pursue their love with all they've got, even if they know that love will be unrequited. Yes. After all, by now, we are not furniture. That's probably a good time to bring up that little footnote. Acting above your place, I think, is actually very, very important. If you believe yourself to be furniture or worthless or not good enough, you won't ever be. For instance, a personal example, I am currently the phone repair technician for all of the city of Colville, the town of Colville. I, as far as I know, am the only guy who repairs anything there at all in like 100-mile radius. You have to go to the big city for anything even close. That's 100 miles away. I got the job. I was expecting maybe a cashier guy, somebody to help find miscellaneous parts, but they proposed, "Can you do repairs?" Yeah, I could try. I think I can. Yeah, I could probably do it. I had confidence enough that I had some experience. I've taken things apart. I've built computers, but I've never tried phones or other people's devices or completely fixed things. I've never done that before. But now I'm actually at this job, and I am actually okay at it. I'm pretty good. I still screw up a lot of things, but I'm okay at it. Better than I thought I would be. And now I'm in a much better position than I used to be because I gave myself the chance to be more than I currently was. And now I'm currently like swimming in orders of like, can you fix this phone? Can you fix my TV? Can you fix my PS4? Can you fix my Xbox? Can you fix my DS? Can you fix this? Can you fix that? Yeah, maybe, sure, okay, yeah, no, easy. I now know a lot more than I did before. And it happened because I allowed myself to be more than I thought I was, which is really important. Another one is honesty. When those two were talking about their true feelings, they both came to a mutual understanding of where they both stood, and they both accepted where they were going to go from there. It is kind of my whole point of just speak plainly, honestly, and plainly with people. It may hurt initially, but if you're both thinking it and you voice it and you both agree, you now have no more worry or anxiety about what may or may not happen. Sure, I can. Well, this table that I'm streaming from, I built. I love this thing. It doesn't quite fit, but it also fits really well in places. I made that. It's my table. It's been through like 3 alterations. It used to be a fold-up table because we had low space, but then we changed the legs to something else that was a bit more stable. But then those two didn't quite work, and then we just nailed new ones onto it. So it's like third incantation. But yes, you can love a piece of furniture. That's no problem at all. But if you're talking about love, and the one question I have is, are they treating furniture as like a doll, just a piece, or are they an actual person? I would have trouble loving something without free will. That is a personal thing. I'm with Battler that it's not the same. It's not her. It's just the piece. If you get all God mode and you have like make the piece do what you want and haha, look at them dance or whatever the hell it is, make them say something stupid. There's no truth to it. It's nothing. It's you acting out something for your own benefit, which I dislike. I like people because they are people. They have the ability to think and rebel and go against things. They are unique. And people are people. It's very important to me. I don't like imitations. I like real things. Real people, real items. But again, this doesn't Canon has a chance. And one of the shows we watched on this stream, or yeah, was Bakemonogatari, and they have this thing in there of what was it? True good and true evil. Pure good and pure evil or something. A creature that's born and dictated to be good, and a creature that's born and dictated to be evil. For instance, let's say an angel and a devil. An angel is good, a devil is bad. An angel is automatically good because they were born and created and designed that way. A devil is automatically not good. But if a devil tries to be good, are they still good or are they still evil? It's an interesting argument, and one of the things, I can't remember, the cheesy salesman guy, or con artist, he talks about the fake, the devil trying to be the good one. It was made as a fake, and it's imitating the good, but it's trying to be good. It's making the conscious effort to make that distinction. And he made the argument that that would be more good than the angel that was designed to be good. And I kind of agree. It's not necessarily where you are, but the intent behind everything. That makes a big difference. Alright. Let's see if we can get to another spot. And by the way, feel free to keep chatting about things. When I do this, I'm just centering myself so I can focus on the text. But yeah, if you have other things to talk about, feel free and toss them in whenever. The boat carrying the relatives docked at the harbor. They left the boat one by one, making fun of Battler. Fall, fall. Goro wasn't the only one to greet them. Cannon was there too. It's been quite some time, everyone. Allow me to welcome you to Rokkenjima. I hope that your long journey went smoothly. Welcome to Rokkenjima. Ah, good, good. Goda complimented Cannon in a whisper. Cannon ignored this, looking just a little sour, and continued to greet the incoming relatives. This is your first time meeting Goda-san and Kanon-kun, isn't it, Battler-kun? Oh, it's my first time meeting Battler too. Goda-san's a great chef. He's the only reason anyone would ever want to come to this island. I am most honored. Battler-sama, I do hope that you look forward to our meals during your stay. Maria. I can't wait. I'm counting on you. A long time no see, Kanon-kun. You seem to be in high spirits today. That's great. You think so? Oh, yes. Your face is looking brighter today. Maybe it's your complexion. Or maybe it's that your gaze looks a bit more gallant. Must be a growing phase. That's how a boy becomes a man. You usually look as though you're about to pass out from anemia. You're a bit different today. You've got some spunk. A boy can change a lot in just 3 days. I guess this means even Kanon-kun's getting a bit more manly. We aren't making fun of you, okay? We're all complimenting you. Cannon had sworn to start changing the way he lived, bit by bit. However, he had only meant to change within himself, and had expected that it would show on the outside. He was a bit shocked to hear that his expression had changed so much, that people had apparently noticed as soon as he opened his mouth. No, maybe the real surprise was that his normal expression must have looked so incredibly sullen in comparison. Goda led the way up to the guest house. Cannon brought up the rear, helping carry some of Kurosawa's shopping. And yeah, it's change your belief, and you will physically change your outward appearance. One thing you'll notice with me, I'm trying to work on it myself, I'll tend to slump and be like this a lot of times. I'm trying to work on my posture and get a bit more proper so my shoulders don't droop as much. And it makes a bit of a difference. I notice when I start slumping a lot, I tend to feel not too good. Focus it back up, and the mood improves a little. Very small, very subtle, but it helps. Does my face really look that bright today? It looks that way to me as well. Did something good happen? Even Kumasawa was saying it. Kanon, unable to see what his own face looked like, hung his head in embarrassment. When they reached the rose garden, they could see the others streaming into the guest house. Then he saw Jessica running towards him from there. And just like big old like globs of varnish just sticking on his skin. Hi everybody! And just plastered it into a smile. Is even my lady Jessica going to say that I'm in a good mood today? Kanon hung his head even deeper. And so, almost as though he couldn't control himself, Kanon spoke first. Do I really look that different? Huh? Well, you know, you aren't usually the type to come out and say hello of your own accord. That's probably why everyone was surprised. I apologize for not going with you earlier, my lady. Huh? Oh, don't worry about that. I'm the one who's sorry for asking you to come all the way out to Najima with me to meet everyone. I know how busy you must be today. I didn't have anything in particular to do. You were just so dazzling. You're so dazzling that I couldn't bear to be with you. I was just weak. Jessica faltered, uncertain what Kanon was talking about. However, she realized that this was something too important to be laughed off. Did something happen, Kanon-kun? Shannon says she's going to get married. I see. So George Nissan is going to propose this time after all. Jessica thought Kanon was sad because Shannon would be leaving, that this new mental state had caused a change in his behavior. And Kanon realized that Jessica was probably thinking this. So, he spoke to her clearly and honestly, because he wanted her to know. I decided that I would stop working here if Nissan ever quit. I know. So, are you going to quit too, Kanon-kun? I'm not sure anymore. I feel that if I quit, I might lose sight again of something you revealed to me, shining like the sun. Jessica could only stare blankly, unable to understand what he was saying. However, she did realize that he was trying to tell her something important, and so she was able to accept that his next words were neither a lie nor a joke. My lady Jessica, I love you. I love you too. You live your life like the sun, and I want to try walking that path alongside you. I have a feeling that, with you, I'll be able to break free from the me that I despise as furniture. You aren't furniture, Kanon-kun, and you weren't born just so you could become a servant. A boy your age should be enjoying life much, much more. I'm dazzled too. You're so dazzling, I can hardly see. This is how I truly feel. I'm sorry for trying to hide it for so long. I apologize for hurting you on that day, in my cowardice. That's okay. Just hearing you say that makes me happy. So, since I want to always be with you, I plan to stop being furniture. I ask that you give me some time to do that. Please forgive this last bit of weakness. There's nothing weak about you. You've shown me. You've shown me that you have this incredible courage to change yourself from the way you used to be. So I'll support you until the end. And I won't rush you until you're ready. If I'm the sun lighting your path, that's because I want to shine more brightly than anything else, so that you'd look only at me. Without you, there's no way I'd become anything like a sun. So I'll wait, no matter how long it takes. Thank you, my lady. My lady is a bit stiff, don't you think? May I call you by your name? Sure. Oh, but only when we're alone, okay? Otherwise, it might make things tough for you. Good point. Nei-san and George-sama are doing the same, it seems. If Shannon hadn't been about to get engaged, you wouldn't have said what you just said right now, right? Cannon hung his head, at a loss for words for some time. But it was true. If Shannon hadn't told him about the engagement, he probably wouldn't have been having this conversation at this moment. Yes. Because of that, I was able to think long and hard. Come on. You heard about Shannon and you wanted to see what love felt like yourself, right? Yes. That's a pretty straight answer. Well, when I watched those two, I was pretty jealous myself. I've never quite got that little motion that they do in anime. I've only ever seen it there. In truth, it wasn't quite like that for either of them. They'd been shown the courage needed to speak up and tell the ones you love how you feel. That's what pushed both Cannon and Jessica forward. So, what should I call you? Jessica works fine. Just saying it like that would be a bit embarrassing. Then you can use San, at least, this verse. Why not try it out? Come on. Hold on. Jessica-san. Jessica-san. Good. That'll do for now. I'd like to call you by your name, Cannon-kun. You have a real name, besides Cannon, don't you? I'll bet it has the character Cannon in it, like Cannon does. What could it be? My name is Yoshia. Oh, how is it written? Jessica tried tracing out various characters on the palm of her hand. Then, Kendo used his own finger to write out his name on her hand. You write it as this, Yoshia. So you're Yoshia-kun. Yeah, that's a great name. Totally better than my weird name. Jessica's pretty normal. That's not true. Our Lady Jessica has a wonderful name. Say it again. Huh? My Lady Jessica has... One more time. My Lady Jessica has a wonderful... Is something wrong? No big deal. Thanks, Yoshia-kun. The red flowers of the rose garden seemed to celebrate the two lovers whose feelings had finally connected. The scene was watched by one not human, who gazed out quietly from beneath the rose garden arbor. And I think that might actually do for a stopping point right now. Didn't quite get as far as we probably could have, but you take time to stop and smell the flowers, I guess. All right, today was actually kind of fun. I had fun talking about stuff. But yeah, if you guys ever want to start a discussion, feel free. It's my only hang up is I'm trying to tell the story properly and effectively for you guys. So it's a pet peeve of mine is like when we're watching a TV show or a movie and like somebody pauses it or like chats during it. It's like, oh, come on. But if we have like an actual just stop and go, it's fine with me. I'm trying to be the best I can for you guys. Yeah, tangents are fun. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's just thank you. I'll check that out, and I'll work at getting a keyboard thing get up. It is Friday, so that is the weekend. I guess we'll see you Sunday. I'll try and get some more stuff in my life sorted out. Take more steps to better myself and whatnot. Anyway, see you later, guys. Till next time. Oh, never mind. See you all later. Oh, yeah, that was it. Beatrice has a new thing on this thing. We gotta do this one. Beatrice, the new witch who was revived from the rules. She has not lived 1,000 years, and her behavior is vastly different from how it once was. She's a witch who doesn't even know how to use magic. However, she has no fear of magic circles or spiderwebs. It's almost as though she's just a human. She's attached to Battler and makes it her goal to do whatever she can for him. There we go. That was it. Can't forget about Beatrice. She's the embodiment of the rules. Anyway, now it's happy weekend, everybody. See you all later.